Never seen a lame man walk, never heard a dumb man talk, never seen a blind man see. I promise you will change his name. Never seen a canceled debt, never seen all the poor get fed, never seen a prisoner set free. I promise you will change his name. Broken heart made whole. Never seen an orphan find a home. Never seen a weak find a strength. I promise you I'll change his name. Never seen the sick get healed. Never seen.
Hey, everybody! Guess what? Guess what?
What?
It's podcast time.
It's podcast day.
It is podcast day. It is time for the big C and bigger T podcast, and I am your man, the with the plan, let the tan. Don't call me Stan. I'll kick you in the face, man. Big T, Travis Johnson, here as always with my friends since the 6th grade. We're rocking it in the mean streets of. He grew up on Republican Road in Greenbrier, Arkansas, up on the hill overlooking beautiful Greenbrier Valley. Clint Clark, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm fantastic. I woke up this morning, I was like, there's something important I'm supposed to do today. And you know what? I remember it's podcast day. It's podcast day.
Hey, you know, something we've never talked about.
Okay.
You grew up next to a nuclear bomb site.
Yeah, a missile base.
Missile base.
Yeah.
Any effects from the whole, having a nuclear weapon that close to any
no, and you know what's crazy?
Any radiation?
No, I don't. No, not that I noticed.
Okay.
I have this permanent metallic taste.
Yes, yeah.
But no, because and then it got worse. Like mom and dad, they moved out there like once. I mean, literally, they butted up against it. I think they actually used the foundation of an old building, and what
at the helipad or something that they put there.
No, I'd put and of course, man, this is a shame that they didn't put out there before we graduated, because I'd use that helipad for a basketball court.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
man, that was crazy.
But that
was crazy. I remember y'all let me hunt out there some, and I kept expecting to find some deer that were, like one horn going this way and one horn going. Never.
Pridmore actually killed a couple deer out there.
Yeah, I'm sure they were fine. It was.
Yeah.
Y'all, I just remember y'all couldn't live on the property for so many years once they shut that down or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, sometime we can talk about when the one. Do you remember when the one blew up in Damascus? Do you have any?
I don't remember it, but I mean, I remember it, but I don't remember it. I don't remember too much about it.
I remember my parents talking about it, and I remember police coming to our door in Clinton telling us that they may have to evacuate us. But I was pretty young. I was like 4 or 5.
Yeah,
but I don't remember much about it.
I do remember like when they shut it down. You had all the military, like when they were sad and stepped, especially my granny Audie and my granddad B. They had them like sitting in their yard.
Well, they were right next to it.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
I mean, they were like.
I think I don't know if we donate. I heard my granddad donated the land, which he's a better man than me if he donated it.
I'd take some government funds on that.
No, you don't know.
Anyway, sorry. I hadn't thought about that in a long time. Anyways, that some of y'all are like, if you didn't know, Arkansas used to have several missile silos, and Clint grew up right next to one of them. And in beautiful Greenbrier, there was a nice nuclear bomb next to where he lived.
There's one right on Highway 65 going, out past Spring Hill.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think it's been a mobile home lot. I mean, it's been 2 or 3 things, but
yeah. I mean, it's no big deal. Just a couple nuclear bombs.
And we wonder how come we had these random earthquakes a few years ago.
Yeah. No big deal.
Fracking, nuclear plant, who knows?
Well, Clint, how's your week been, man? You've been having a good week?
It's been a great week. Man, hey, can I ask you a question?
What's that?
I'm sitting on the tailgate right now.
On the tailgate?
On the tailgate, I'm like, hey, can I maybe get a seat on the bandwagon, buckle my seat belt? I mean, it feels unsafe on the tailgate.
Those seatbelts are costly on this bandwagon, Clint.
Well, I've lost a little weight, but I'm worried about the tailgate just going, and then I'll just fall off and I'll roll down a hill.
Worried about it bouncing when you hit a bump?
Yeah, like I'll roll, I'll look like Andy on Hot Rod, and I'll just be rolling down it.
That's right, yeah. Well, Clint, you were kind of off the bandwagon there. You were off the Musk bus there for a little while. You were doubting the old team. What's your boy? What, 8 in a row now? Working on 9?
8 in a row with the
8 in a row, number 1 team coming in. Okay, we're recording this on Monday night. Okay,
right.
So by the time this goes out, they would have played Auburn. Okay, which I think, I'm just going to say it, I think we got a good chance against them. I think the way this team is playing, I think we got a good chance against anybody.
Oh, I do too. I do too. I think we played Oklahoma again on neutral court, we'd probably beat them. And you're talking about a team that, drummed us pretty good. I mean, they drummed us real good. I think we would beat them again. Now, what do you think the key to the turnaround is? I know what I think my key to the turnaround is, but I'm just curious to what you think it is.
Effort. Consistent effort. Clint, we're not beating teams because we're out shooting them.
No.
Do you know that?
No, I guarantee not.
I mean, we're shooting good. I mean, we're shooting well, but it's not because we're blowing up from 3-point line or we got somebody going off and hitting 35. We're playing consistent effort basketball. Guys look, Chris disappeared for a while, right? We all were frustrated with him. Was telling Musk to put him on the bench.
Yeah.
Okay, he's worked his way back. He hadn't done that because he's hitting shots. He was hitting shots already. He's back in there because he's playing good defense and he's playing good without the ball. And that's making his offense better. That's making the team better. And that's what these guys are doing. They finally bought into it and they're playing team ball. And that's what we're seeing. Okay. Anyway, what do you think? What are you seeing out there?
And I want to say something about Chris Locks. I do want to say that, then I'll tell you what I think it is. Is Nolan Richardson always used to say, he goes, it doesn't matter who starts. It doesn't matter. What's more important is who finishes. Mm-hmm. And so I thought about that with a minute and a half left in the Mississippi State game. The game, it was still a game. Like you thought Arkansas had the advantage, but it was still a ball game.
Yeah.
Chris Locks was out there.
Yeah.
I mean, and like I said, your job as a basketball player, football player, whatever sport you play, if it's baseball, hockey, whatever, to play so good, they can't take you out.
That's right.
And Locks did it. And he hit the big shot. Mm-hmm. When he let it go, and I watched that guy play defense, he's like, he ain't going to shoot it. He ain't going to shoot it. And I mean, he'd sagged off so far. I mean, he pretty much dared Locks to shoot it. Mm-hmm. And Locks was like, okay, dude. And then, once he saw him going up, he come out. But yeah, I mean, he had a wide open look, and he's too good of a shooter not to just pass that up.
Also, earlier in the year on defense, he was letting his size be a detriment. And he's turned that around, and his size has become a asset. Yeah. He's getting up and under the offensive guy and wreaking havoc. And that's what little guys do. I mean, that's the way to a little guy can attack a big guy. And he's done it. Look, I'm no coach, but I took basketball coaching classes in college. I understand basketball, and I've, watched and studied Nolan Richardson over the years, and Mike Anderson, and now Musselman, and all the other coaches we've had. And I listened to the press conferences, and just listen to Musselman's press conference. And when I coached my little team, at Sparkman, there was a couple things that I told them that you need to do. And, if you just do this, you're going to have a chance to win any game you do. That is always move. Don't stand still. Okay. Always move and have good spacing on offense. So spread out. Don't get jammed up in one spot. Yeah. Right. That's just basics of basketball. Okay. If we're playing 3-on-3, that you need to do those two things on offense. Okay. And you need to share the ball. You need to pass the ball around. Those three things. If you do those three things and you listen to every press conference Musselman talks about, they say, what did you do good tonight? Well, we shared the ball well. We had good movement on offense. We had good spacing. Okay. That's what this team's doing. They're doing the basics. And that's why I'm saying I think we can go. I feel confident going in against whoever we play. I'm not saying what I fear is we don't have the go-to stud guy. I don't think Note is the go-to stud guy that we can say, okay, go win this game for us, Note. I don't think he's it, but he's the closest we got.
I completely disagree with you that we don't have that guy on the team. I think that the difference is this is Jalen Williams' team. This team is Jalen Williams' team. Yeah. And I think if you have a possession that you've got to get the ball to Jalen Williams and make him. He's the distributor. He's stirring the drink now. I mean, I think they wanted Devo Davis to be that guy that they kind of drove the ship, him and Note. And the guy driving the ship is Jalen Williams. I think that's the biggest difference.
Well, I do. I think you're right. I think it's got to go through him, but for a postman like him and the guy with his skill set, it's different than a Note doing it. Because a Note can get in there.
But I think that's that's what you're saying is the problem is we don't have that guy that can just go out there and he's like, I'm either going to drive past you or I'm going to do it. And that's even Jimmy Dykes, I think, was doing the color the other night. He said, man, this Arkansas offense is best when it's running through Jalen Williams.
Yeah.
And, if he knows that, then Musselman knows that. Oh. I mean, so he's doing that. Now, they're really excited. No, they're really excited about the Auburn game, the whiteout game. Yeah. I saw today that Jalen Battles had tweeted out, like, man, I'm trying to get free tickets, get tickets to the game. And Musselman had tweeted back, is like, tell Van Horn I said let you out of practice.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good.
That's good.
And he said, and that's what I love about Musselman. Musselman is a great ambassador for the University of Arkansas. I mean, whether it's throwing out burritos at the football game, tweeting, he gets it. I was a little frustrated the way it's going, but man, I hope he's here forever because I just love me some Eric.
Did you see him after the game the other night when Ludacris was going to be there? And in the press conference, he put a sign up while he was doing the press conference, so the video would see it. It said, need Ludacris tickets. He said, I thought I had some, but my wife gave them to somebody. So now I need some tickets so I can get in. So somebody help me out. He said, I got to go see Ludacris tonight.
That's great.
And apparently he did it because he tweeted a picture of him and Ludacris later.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a comparison for you of an Arkansas player that I don't think anyone would ever. You got to be a sports basketball nerd to get this comparison. But if you are a little bit of a nerd, this will hit for you. And a guy that's really changed this team is Wade, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's come in, he's doing the things. He's whether it's rebounding, defense, scoring. He's an older guy, so he's bringing maturity to the team. You know who he's reminding me of?
Who's that, bud?
He reminds me of now. Let me get this out of Dennis Rodman. Detroit. Dennis Rodman.
You're telling me about that the other day. Yeah.
Not Dennis Rodman with crazy hair,
wearing a dress.
Wearing a dress, marrying, or hanging out with Madonna, marrying himself. I'm not talking about the crazy Dennis Rodman that everybody remembers when you think of Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman, when he was with the Bad Boys, he played more of a 3. Okay, he was more of a he could guard big guys. He could guard outside if he needed to. He could shoot outside if he needed to. He was more of a versatile. He was a real versatile guy. He could, because Detroit had small guards, so he could guard the big guards if he needed to, or he could guard the big guys. Like a Larry Bird and some of them that could, that were bigger forwards. So that's and just his body style, the way he's built, reminds me a lot of the old Rodman. Because when Rodman got down with David Robinson, all of a sudden he blew up, got the big shoulders, and he became a rebound king.
Right. Hey, but speaking of Dennis Rodman, I'm gonna blow your mind here with a little bit of soccer news.
What?
Soccer news. Do you know who is the highest paid woman in the National Women's Soccer League? Trinity Rodman.
Is that his daughter?
That is Dennis Rodman's daughter, signed a $1 million contract and to be the highest paid player in the National Women's
$1 million for soccer?
Yeah. And now to give you a comparison, and I saw this and I think this is ridiculous. I really do. I think this is so low, it's embarrassing. But that's another show. Is the WNBA's max contract is $228,000.
That's the highest paid.
That's the highest. That's their max contract. That's the most they can pay anybody.
Oh, that's terrible.
No, I mean, no, that's. I mean, it's embarrassing. But
yeah,
that's a different podcast.
She's making $1 million doing soccer.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, Clint, as normally on a weekly basis, we do a segment called Holy Schinikes.
Yeah.
Which we find things that are, like we hear about and we respond, Holy Schinikes, did that just happen?
Yeah, like a pole assassin.
Oh, well, yeah, exactly, like pole assassin. Exactly.
Pole assassin.
Well, this week, Clint, besides Razorback basketball, our other two things that we're going to talk about.
It's like Holy Schinikes week.
Or just Holy Schinikes stuff.
It's Holy Schinikes week.
It's just Holy Schinikes week. Which one do you want to talk about first?
We can go the order. Let's start off with the Flores lawsuit.
Okay.
He's got a good case.
Coach Flores
go ahead.
He went from Miami, starts off the year not doing well, but ends up winning his last 8 games?
8 games.
Gets fired by the Dolphins.
I mean, he has a great record, 10-7.
Yeah.
They did miss the playoffs, and you could see you can see where ownership would say, all right, that's in and of itself, you didn't make, but I mean, Tua was hurt. No one could have done more these last 2 years of the Miami Dolphins. You could have had Belichick there with his dream coaching staff. They would not have done better with that team.
Especially if saying in his lawsuit is true.
Yeah. That they wanted him to lose.
He's saying in his lawsuit that his owner was offering him $100,000 per loss, correct? Isn't that what he's saying?
Yeah. He said something like that. He says he has evidence of it.
Clint, in the NFL, an NFL team is only as good as their ownership.
They are.
Every now and then there'll be a team that exceeds what their ownership gives them. Okay, they got the right mix of guys and the right coach, and they'll play above what their ownership is set up for them.
We call that the Major League One factor.
Exactly, but that does not happen very often.
No,
there's a reason. There's a reason my Browns have struggled so bad. It's because since when Art Modell moved them to Baltimore, Art Modell, I may hate him forever for moving them, but was a good owner that put the right people in place to run the team.
Yeah.
Whenever the NFL set up the Browns, they've had horrible people. I mean, the owner now, Jimmy Haslam, in his first couple years as the owner of the Browns, is got the FBI showing up to his offices for Flying J truck stops, okay, to raid his offices. He's not a good business owner, okay? So he don't know what he's doing, and he keeps changing things up. So the Dolphins owners apparently are not. Well, we're seeing that in the NFL. We have 9 openings, right?
Right. Yeah.
And we're going to have Lovie Smith that looks like it's going to be hired at Houston. Okay, that's what it's looking like right now.
It is, and then
the guy going to Miami says that he's multi-ethnic. I don't know. I don't know what his ethnicity is.
Apparently his father is African American.
Okay, is that it? I don't know. Yeah. He's kind of. I didn't know if he had Latino in him or what. I didn't know.
Yeah, so that gives you Salas in for the Giants and for the Jets is, I think he's multiracial. And then Rivera, who is Latino, and then Tomlin, Lovie Smith, both African American, and then you have another multiracial. It just, man, it baffles my mind. I mean, to this day, that Eric Bieniemy is not a head coach. I don't get it. That he hasn't gotten a shot. You can't tell me there were 10 more qualified people than him to get the job. They're doing some retreads and all that, and I don't get that. I mean,
especially with as many interviews as he's had.
You've got Dennis Allen, who they're hiring at New Orleans, failed at Oakland. Peterson, I'm gonna give Peterson credit. He at least won a Super Bowl. But you saw the dumpster fire. He left in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I mean, it got nasty, and they're basically, I don't get that. That's probably to me the worst hire, because you basically had a guy that left in drama going into drama to fix drama. To me, that one.
Well, be careful though. I think with the Peterson deal, some of that was ownership,
and it could be.
Philadelphia is a little bit like the Browns.
Yeah.
Philadelphia went straight. Their ownership is straight. What's it called? Where they do analytics and how they do things. They're trying to small ball everything, and that's where they messed up Philadelphia. They had a great team, and I think Peterson disagreed with some of that, and because Peterson's came up through the league. But here's the other deal: that the Texans, Clint, were almost going to hire Josh McCown.
Oh yeah, that was ridiculous. And Josh McCown's coaching high school football.
Yeah. No. Now, look, Josh McCown played for the Browns for a while. I know, I know some about him. He's a great locker room guy,
Right.
But no experience. And they were ready to hire him over these other guys. Now, let's be fair too. Byron Leftwich would probably be at the Jaguars.
Yeah, if he hadn't pulled out of consideration.
Yeah. And because I think the Jaguars wanted him. For one thing, I think that I may be wrong here, but I think they wanted him because he would be coming home. He would have a connection there. Plus, they feel good about him.
And I did read that he withdrew from consideration for the job.
Because of bad ownership. He didn't. He was smart and didn't want to take a bad job.
Well, and you got to think about it too. Is Eric Bieniemy and Byron Leftwich are in two good situations under two good head coaches? They'll be like, yeah, that's good ownership. Go there. Yeah. I don't think Arians or Reed are going to let either one of them two go in a position where they're going to fail. And that's part of the reason I think Lovie Smith's a good hire in Houston, because he's established, and plus it's chaos right there, and he was already in the building.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
They already got the chaos of the Watson factor.
Yeah, but here's what I think you do. If you've got somebody you like McCown, you get him on the staff. And Jerry Jones is great at this. That he did the thing with Jason Garrett. I think he's doing the same thing with Kellen Moore. I think he wants Kellen Moore to be the next football coach.
He just wants his yes man.
Yeah. Now Flores just did not sue the Dolphins. He sued the NFL and the Dolphins, but he is suing the New York Football Giants.
He's naming names, man.
Yeah. And once again, if he's got a text from Belichick, which Belichick always seems to get brought up in these in lawsuits. In the Arkansas and Belima lawsuit, he got brought up. But basically, he thought he was texting Brian DeBoer. And he says, hey, congratulations. He goes, hey, you hear something I didn't? He goes, Giants, question mark. Then he goes, well, because I hear you got it. He goes, well, I hope so. It's what I want. I think I got a good shot. And then he realized he was texting the wrong Brian. And so, Brian said he felt humiliated and embarrassed. To me, that's making a mockery of the Rooney Rule. I've hired a lot of people through the years in my different management jobs. And it's something I always took pride in, is that I would hire the best candidate, regardless of race, gender, sexual orientation. My job is to hire the best candidate. Now, if I'm interviewing a bunch of people and I've got more interviews to do, I'm not going to, you've got to keep an open mind. And it sounds like they go, okay, we like this guy, we're going to hire him. And then they were done. You're making a mockery of the rule. You're not through this true spirit of the rule. They're making a mockery of the rule.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, and the Lovie Smith hire just seems, I don't know. It seems like a settling, that, he's one of those names that kind of like Dennis Green kept coming up years ago. I just, and I really don't know what the fix is, Clint. It's
when I was listening to First Take this morning, and one thing Stephen A. Smith is, it's like I said last week, ownership has to do better. The guys making those decisions have to do better, and maybe diversity in ownership is the first thing that happen. You need to have, like, the guy for Shark, Damon John, Jay-Z, that has the big, the guys that have the big money. You're
Well,
Sean.
and some of these former athletes,
Yeah,
they need to get in. They need to get into these ownership groups.
they do.
That are buying teams. I mean, because they know how teams need to be run.
Yeah,
And I'd love to see some of that, man. I'd love to see some of those guys get in there and get some ownership, because I mean that's the way it's going to change. I mean,
yeah.
really.
And the other one too that I wanted to bring up that I had on here is also what happened to Flores with Denver, where he was scheduled for an interview with the Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
John Elway, apparently everybody that's supposed to interview him showed up an hour late, and John Elway was hungover and was being like obnoxious about being hungover.
Yeah.
It's like, we're just doing this interview because we have to. We don't even care. I mean, it just, if that kind of thing is happening, if these things that he is saying are true, if these are proven to be true, I hope he wins his lawsuit.
Yeah.
I did see, I think Roger Goodell looks at it and he knows that he has a problem.
Yeah.
But the problem is the guys that are hiring the coaches and they're hiring the GMs are his boss.
Yeah.
And you got a bunch of rich guys that are going to do what they want to do because they want to do it.
Yeah.
And they're not used to like, okay, you want me to hire a minority coach? Well, look who it is.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, Clint, the thing is, the hardest thing for me to hear on this whole thing is I'm hearing a lot of these national commentators like on ESPN, Fox News, Fox Sports Radio, and they keep saying that he will never have a job coaching again in the NFL because of this lawsuit. And to me, that's a shame. And that's coming from a guy that is totally okay with Colin Kaepernick not having a job in the NFL. Because Colin Kaepernick had gotten benched before, he had lost his job before he started the kneel down thing. I'm not arguing over whether he had the right to kneel down or anything like that. I think Colin Kaepernick's not in the league because Colin Kaepernick's skills were depleting already. Okay. And so I'm okay that he doesn't have a job. I'm not talking anything political. Right. I don't think Colin Kaepernick's a good enough quarterback to be in the league. Okay. I mean, I think he was a great athlete. I think he had a couple good years, but teams figured him out and he wasn't able to adjust to it. He had just lost his job. He decided to make a stand, and whatever people think about that, that's on them. That's up to you to decide on that. But well,
let's just be honest. I mean, the NFL doesn't give a crap about morals. If Jeffrey Dahmer could have run a 4.3, they'd have said he had an eating disorder. That's the reality of the NFL.
Yeah, yeah.
You can carry on now.
Yeah, but for this coach that is seeing some obvious problems and he's making the only stand that he can. He has no other way to make a stand.
Yeah.
No other way to do it. Okay. He just lost his job after winning 8 in a row and bringing a team that looked desolate back to life. And he loses his job. And now, because he's speaking out, because his owners wanted him to lose so they could get better draft picks, and he can't get interviews and fair interviews so he can get another job. And he's not even, he's not getting to play on a fair playing field. And everybody's saying that's in the know that he won't ever get to coach again. Oh, Clint, I hope that's wrong.
Oh no,
I hope those people are predicting wrong. I don't even know the guy. I don't know much about him, to be honest with you. I hope they're wrong. He deserves to be able to coach again.
He does,
even with this lawsuit.
He does, and I heard he was one of the finalists for the Texans job, and I was hoping he'd get it, but at the same time, that's a dumpster fire. So that's kind of not, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but it's definitely. Did you see? Speaking of the NFL, Jim Harbaugh interviewed at Michigan, not Michigan,
Minnesota. Yeah, on National Signing Day.
Yeah, I'm like,
and then decided, no, I'm staying with Michigan.
Minnesota told them they were probably going another direction.
Yeah,
which I don't know if Minnesota's hired anybody yet.
I don't know,
but yeah, it wasn't a good look. And he's like, yeah, I'll never do this again. That's my one and only flirtation.
No, he'll end up in the NFL sometime soon.
Yeah, I mean, it's an itch that he's got to scratch eventually.
Yeah,
not winning the Super Bowl's got to bother him.
Yeah.
But
our other Holy Schinikes.
Oh yeah,
our other Holy Schinikes. We talked about Auburn's #1 basketball teams coming in. Well, their football team ain't quite #1, but their football teams had a few off-season struggles.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. This could be the dumpster fire of the week if we want.
Things aren't looking too good on the Plains.
They aren't. First things first is they are losing an assistants at an alarming rate. They've lost 5 assistants. Like, a lot of it was, a lot of things with over the summer, Eric Musselman kept losing it. A lot of people were thinking, man, everybody just don't like Eric Musselman, they say he's a little hard to work for. He's pretty demanding, but I mean, this is, the guys ain't even been there for like a day or two. And they're like, no, well, I'm out. I'm out. So, I mean, they've lost 5 assistants, 5 assistant coaches.
The offensive coordinator was there for 5 weeks.
Yeah. And, well, there's a little more to it. I mean, and unfortunately, we'd be familiar with this in Arkansas. Apparently, he hired a mistress to work in the athletic department, and that he's been having an affair. I don't know. I can't remember what position she held in the athletic department. I do know she transferred. I'm trying to pull it up right now. She transferred. She came with him from Boise. So, yeah, I don't know. I can't find her job. Yeah, but he was.
So he got her the job at Auburn.
He got her the job at Auburn. She followed him. She followed him from Boise State. He's been having an affair.
Okay, so I didn't know that he got her the job at Auburn. That does make it because the Bobby Petrino deal. If he would have just been having an affair, Bobby Petrino probably wouldn't have got fired.
Right.
Where Bobby Petrino got in trouble was he got her a job that she wasn't the best qualified for and got her a significant pay raise. And that's what got Bobby Petrino.
And the problem is, and this is one thing about that, is you can't misuse state funds to hire your mistress for a job that she's not qualified for. Your job is a state employee. You just can't. And she's, by the way, the assistant to the head coach in football operations.
Oh.
So she is his assistant.
Yeah.
She's drop dead gorgeous, though. I'm just going to say that. I mean, I mean, we don't go here on the show, but yeah, she's really hot.
Yeah.
Sorry to bring you down, Reverend, but you were on your pulpit. You were in your pulpit earlier when you were talking about, so I was like, I'm going to let him go. Like, he's preaching today. They need to bring the 32 NFL owners in and just let you preach to them.
That's right.
We'll have a pulpit call at the end of it.
That's right. Get an altar call.
Yeah.
No, that I don't know what's going to happen there, man. They're it looks like they've learned from the what happened at Arkansas and everything, that they're going slow on this. They're not moving too fast. But from the things I've been reading, it looks like it's going to come to a head, and there's a good chance he's out.
Yeah, and one of their football players, I sent you this tweet or this message, look like an Instagram message. Auburn is a special place and will always be. I'm still a true Auburn made man, War Eagle forever, and I've always loved Auburn since I was a kid. To my old teammates, I love and learned a lot from you, but no matter what the reason I chose to leave Auburn, because we got treated like we wasn't good enough and like dogs.
Yeah.
You know, it just that you can't treat, I mean, with the transfer portal, you can't treat kids poorly anymore and expect them to stay.
You know, Clint, and I know he wasn't there long, but we didn't get reports about that kind of stuff when he was at Arkansas State, did we?
Not at Arkansas State.
I
And
thought
not
they
at,
loved him up there.
well, he was only there for a year.
That's
Like,
true.
I mean, like it was like literally that was he was the last one to leave, I think, because Anderson was there a good while.
That's true.
But I mean, the last team I saw that had players transferring out like this was Arkansas under Chad Morris.
Yeah.
I mean, lost 20 players to the transfer portal, including, I mean, is there a guy probably more last name more synonymous with Auburn football than Nix?
Yeah.
I mean,
When they lost Bo Nix, I thought, holy cannoli, man, where'd that come from?
Yeah.
I
I mean, he ended up going to Oregon, I believe.
Is that where he went?
Yeah, and Tank Bisbee, he went in the portal and they talked him into coming out.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's got to be sitting there, you know, looking like Will Smith at the end of The Fresh Prince, being like in that empty living room, you know, like, oh,
What do I got to do?
what am I going to do now? I mean, it's just, I mean, it seems like it's a bad situation. I mean, it really does. It reminds me a lot, a little bit of Petrino, you know, but a lot. Harson's twice the football coach Chad Morris is, at least X's and O's, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, it seems to be like there's something just not right there. Now,
It sounds very Petrino-ish, to be honest with you. I mean, treating the players bad, having the girl on the side, all that kind of stuff.
apparently very, very, very abrasive.
Yeah, that's
okay, let me ask you a question. This time next week, is Kevin still the head coach at the University of Auburn? Not Brian Harsin.
I think you may have something there. I think
that's what I think. I think Kevin still will be the next head coach at the University of Auburn. Probably by the time we're on this podcast next week, at the very least with the interim label.
You don't think it'll be John L. Smith?
I don't think it'll be John. I do think it'll be.
Wow.
I wonder if Auburn would still fire Gus if they had it to do over again.
Probably. They're arrogant enough. Yeah.
Man, Auburn, they always want to fire their head coach.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Arkansas on steroids, man. They're never happy with anything.
And Gus was the only one that could beat Saban.
Well, I think is that they've got that permanent little brother syndrome to Alabama.
Yeah.
We're like, yeah, Auburn will sneak up and they'll win a national championship every like 15 years or so.
Yeah.
But Alabama wins it every 3 years.
Yeah.
You know, and they just get salty and they get that never good enough.
Well, Clint, things are crazy on the plains. Poor Auburn. The Tigers, War Eagles, whatever they are.
Could it happen to a better bunch?
That's right. As long as it's not us.
Yeah, it's nice not being the dumpster fire. It really is.
It is, yeah. Well, here's the other thing, Clint, coming up, this weekend is Sunday is the big game. In case you hadn't heard.
I've heard a rumor.
It's out in La La Land, LA.
Dude, how nuts is it? There's never been a home team host in their stadium last 2 years.
It's happened. Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, it's happened. The Rams this year, the Bucks last year.
So your big storylines, you got LA, the home team, hosting the Super Bowl. You got Matthew Stafford saved from the doldrums and dungeons of Detroit. That place where football players go to die, and he's been saved from there and brought to LA, where he's got the young, good-looking coach teaching him how to play and calling plays for him. He's got Cooper Kupp running awesome routes and all those guys, and then they got the man of all men, the defensive line, what's his name?
Aaron Donald.
Yeah, Donald. And then you got Von Miller over there. You know, he's off to the side raising chickens and then coming in, you know, with his cowboy boots, you know, rushing the passer. You got Odell. Don't tell me I can't wear my $325,000 watch to a football game. Beckham. You know, you got an interesting team there. And you know, you got Ramsey on defense there. I mean, you got a squad.
It looks like someone went franchise mode on Madden and turned off salary cap.
That's right, yeah. And then you got them going against them dirty Bengals from Cincinnati. You got, have I ever told you my nickname for Joe Burrow?
No, what is it?
The throwing donkey.
Oh.
Because Burrow in Spanish means donkey.
Oh, there you go.
So the throwing donkey.
You got a little bit of everything today. A little bit of.
So you got Joe, the throwing donkey, sipping on his whiskey and smoking his cigars. You know, you got the most interesting kicker in football right now. You know, kicking for them. And he's leading this young team with another young coach that, you know, trained underneath the other coach. I mean, it could be a really good game, man.
Hey, by the way, did you know Sean McVay beat out Calvin Johnson for Mr. Football?
Yeah, I saw that today.
Yeah, I'd heard that a few months ago, and I was like, really? I'm like, I really hope this is factual before I bring it up. So that's why I'm happy you've heard it too.
Yeah. In Georgia, right? Yeah.
Yeah. The one thing I fear about, I fear for Joe Burrow's safety, because I thought the most important thing Cincinnati could do is hire a right side of their offensive line, because it's like me and you over there on the right side.
Yeah.
Like get it, like try to get in the way.
Well, he got sacked like 9 times in a playoff game the other day, but they still won, Clint.
Yeah. Dude,
who does that? Who gets sacked 9 times and still wins the freaking game?
At some point, you either have the it, or you don't. Joe Burrow has it.
Yeah.
Any other quarterback, I don't know if they could do in Cincinnati what Joe Burrow is doing. I really don't. I'm sure at the beginning of the year, the Cincinnati was probably picked 4th in their division. You know, there's a chance they may have picked them above Pittsburgh, but I doubt it.
Think about it, Clint. They have just started building the team around him.
Yeah.
When Patrick Mahomes came in, they were already in the team building, right? They already had a good team built. They just needed a quarterback to plug in. Cincinnati started with Burrow. Okay. They're a year or two ahead. I mean, like their future's a year or two down the road. They still got to build that offensive line.
Yeah.
They still got to build their defense a little bit. They got puzzle pieces to put in before they're the team that their ownership is trying to build. And they're already in the Super Bowl because Burrow has led them there.
Another real cool storyline that no one else has talked about. Maybe some of the talking heads have, but I haven't heard. Is Andrew Whitworth.
Yeah.
5-star offensive lineman from. Do you know where he went to college at? He was a 5-star recruit. That's the spoiler. Louisiana State University.
Okay.
Started at left tackle for years
For
Cincinnati. Years. He used to tell him, go ahead and draft a new left tackle so you can watch him sit the bench.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what he said. He goes, they ain't beating me out.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he finally just Cincinnati phased him out or if he just signed a free agent, but he's with the Rams now. So it's either he'll get his or he'll watch the team he spent so many years for get theirs.
Yeah.
But that's a cool storyline to me is that guy, because I remember him saying that.
Yeah.
So
well, he was in the Super Bowl a couple years ago in the Rams.
Yeah, he was. They didn't win it.
His first year with the Rams because it was a storyline because he had come over from Cincinnati, so he was kind of like a Odell or somebody like that. They were trying to get, And another thing, both teams. Did you know the Rams originated in Cleveland?
I did not know that.
They started out in Cleveland. They were the Cleveland Rams. Then they moved on out a few times to different places, to St. Louis and LA first, then St. Louis, then back to LA. Anyway,
I'm going to drop something on you that I've never said before in my entire life.
Okay.
Ever. Like these words I've never uttered. The part I'm looking forward to the most about the Super Bowl.
I know what you're about to say.
Is the halftime show.
Amen, brother.
Like normally I'm like, I can't wait to watch. I can't wait to see if Brady can do it. Yeah. Let's see if Rick Foles can pull it out. Let's see what Eli can do. Let's see if they can get to 19-0. Yeah. Let's watch some commercials.
Yeah.
Dr. Dre, Eminem, Snoop, Mary J. Blige, Kendrick Lamar. What's up?
What's
up?
Hey, I'm here for this one, dude. Me and my mom were talking about that this morning, and she was like, "I'm just not excited about the halftime show." I said, "Mom, are you kidding?" I said, "You got to remember." I said that was who was popular when I was in high school. I mean, that's the people that were coming out that everybody was listening to. Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, of course, Eminem, Kendrick Lamar came later. Mary J. Blige back then.
Yeah, I had a friend shared this meme, and I'll share it to our page. This is a lot of these Gen Z kids are about to find out who their parents really are as soon as that beat drops at the Super Bowl halftime show.
That's right.
I'm like that's freaking
good. When gin and juice kicks in. Hey, my prediction. You ready for this? I got a prediction for you. First song of the halftime show. I got it, dude. I know what it is. It's going to be Dr. Dre and Eminem doing California Love.
I agree with you.
It's gonna be in fact, what I would love to see, forget that. I want to see Dr. Dre and a hologram of Tupac doing California Love.
That's very likely.
That would bring the house down, dude.
Yeah.
Would bring it like crazy.
This is gonna be. This is awesome. Hey, we didn't discuss this because who it pains me I never saw in concert that I'll never see him. But who I really wish I could have seen in concert, it'd be like on my bucket list to see him in concert.
Who's that?
Beastie Boys.
Oh yeah.
I would have loved to see the Beastie Boys. I mean, that
I can quote. You can put on the License to Ill album, and I can go word for word with you on the whole album.
Yeah, I mean, it's
probably still. Probably, I don't know. I'd have some problems on some of them.
Yeah, I had somebody message me today that said, I was hoping you knew something, you could have figured something out I didn't. I was going to add your solution to my mental Rolodex. And I texted back, I heard your Rolodex is full and that you've got to get rid of something to put something new in.
Yeah.
He goes, well, I've got a lot of useless stuff in there. So,
Oh man, Beastie Boys.
sure. No,
All right, Clint. If we talked about this a little bit earlier, but or we mentioned it, but we didn't say our answers.
I'm curious who yours is.
All right. Artists you would like to see. Let's start with country.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, that's what we're talking about. Because I told Travis, because every year people clamoring on Facebook, they want George Strait. They want George Strait. The problem with George Strait is I love George Strait.
Oh
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't like big crowds, or I'd go to the George Strait concert in Little Rock.
Yeah.
But I hate crowds that much. I ain't doing it. You can't make me. So what country artist do you think could do the Super Bowl and pull it off?
Garth Brooks.
See, that was the first one in my head too. The Garth, I think we're talking, when we say that, not bring in, so-and-so to sing with him. Like, no, the Super Bowl is Garth Brooks.
Garth go.
Yeah, just put a stage.
He's the greatest showman in country music that I've ever seen.
Oh no, he's a great showman.
I mean, I understand, I understand George Strait wins Entertainer of the Year and stuff like that. And there's something special about George Strait that he can just stand there on the stage and draw you in like he does. I mean, there's something magical when guys can do that. And George Strait can definitely do that. But I think for the Super Bowl, you need something more dramatic. And I think Garth could do that.
She wouldn't be my choice. Carrie Underwood could pull it off too.
Yeah.
Carrie Underwood. But I think Kenny Chesney, as far as a pure country guy, could pull it off too.
Yeah, he's a little too bro country for me. I'm
not saying, but he can sing. If nothing else, he can sing. But yeah.
Now, of the artists that have done it in the past, who's your favorite? Like
Prince.
The Weeknd?
Prince.
I'm with you.
Yeah, Prince.
In when he did Purple Rain in the Rain.
I was gonna say Janet Jackson, didn't you?
Actually, I did. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like that was. That was one of my favorite. That was one of my favorite Lane Kiffin moments of this year. That may be my favorite non-Arkansas just moment. It was whenever he was going out to Tennessee and they go, "What gives you comfort in this hostile environment?" And he goes, "Matt Corral." And he goes, "You thought I was going to say popcorn, didn't you?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "That's funny."
Yeah.
Then 5 of his players got hurt. Just went down.
No, that Prince one, man, where he in Miami when he did Purple Rain in the Rain. Oh my gosh, dude. Prince was next level.
Yeah.
Next level.
No, Timberlake on his own did good too the last time, bringing NSYNC back out. He's, but everybody knows that I don't
think I paid much attention to that one.
In the past, I flipped over like they'd have a wrestling match like that. I think that's my favorite Super Bowl halftimes. Mick Foley versus The Rock in an ring match.
Yeah.
Even though they messed up the ending, and Foley's like, I hate that they did this ending because like he lowers the forklift on The Rock, and for some reason they get just a shot of The Rock going. I mean, it's just a zoom in. I mean, it's like an obvious. They zoomed in to get the facial reaction.
Yeah.
It like totally killed the authenticity of the moment. But it was,
Speaking of NFL, did you happen to catch the Pro Bowl?
I did not catch any of the Pro Bowl.
I watched like 1 minute of it. And now look, I'm all for Pro Bowls, All-Star games. People gripe and complain about them. Man, I grew up loving those. Okay. I mean, I watched back when I was a kid. I wanted to, my dad had cable, my mom didn't. I made sure I was at my dad's on Pro Bowl weekend because ESPN would have the like all those contests. Okay. And they would do, like, the linemen would do bench press contests. They would do the fastest man. They would do the quarterback challenges where they would, Randall Cunningham would be throwing it like 77 yards.
Yeah.
They would do agility contests. They would do, they did the sand volleyball and all this kind of stuff. And so I loved all that stuff, man, because one thing I loved about it is I just like seeing the players being themselves. You get to see their real personalities, and just, them just having fun. And then when the game came, I wanted to see, Troy Aikman throw to Jerry Rice. I wanted to see Anthony Munoz try to block Lawrence Taylor. Okay, those were my two favorite football players in the NFL. I wanted to see them go at it.
Well,
I wanted to see Nate Newton and Jumbo Elliott block beside each other.
Yeah.
On the offensive line. But what they're doing now, Clint, like, they didn't even, it was literally touch football. They did not go to the ground at all, not tackle. They didn't even wrap up. Literally did not wrap up.
Yeah.
Like, there was a 3rd and 1, and Mac Jones just took the ball and went forward 2 steps, and the defensive linemen just kind of stuck their arms out like this, and he just stopped, and that was it. And they called it a first down.
Well, didn't Mahomes play in this one?
Yeah, I think so.
But it's a rarity that anybody of that caliber plays in the Pro Bowl anymore.
Yeah.
It just becomes a cycle of like, who wants to play in it? It was.
I'll tell you where it all changed is that one year in Hawaii. They used to do it in Hawaii.
Yeah,
it's the only place they did it. And there was a running back for the Raiders. They were doing a flag football in sand.
Yeah, it was a running back towards ACL. And what was crazy is I've been sitting there like, there hadn't been the opportunity to say it, but I was thinking the same thing. And it was after that.
Up and it ended his career.
Yeah.
It ended his career. And ever since then, they've tried to make it foolproof to where no one would get hurt.
Yeah. And you see the same thing now. I think that's what you see a lot of that in the bowl games now is, we've had a couple players get hurt in a bowl game.
Yeah.
The next thing you know, they just have no interest.
Yeah.
No interest. But man, it's also the Pro Bowl's provided like good moments. Like I watched this the other day about Jeff Saturday. He had signed with he had left the Colts and signed with the Packers. And I think Peyton was with the Broncos. And Saturday was retiring, and he went out and played a snap with the AFC.
Yeah.
Just so he could snap it to Peyton one last time.
Yeah.
Like it was a touching moment because, I played center and, you get familiar with the hands under your butt.
Yeah, that's right.
I still remember the gentle embrace of Shane Savoy on the scout team.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, of course, then Alvin Kamara, having it in Vegas is probably not the best idea to bring a bunch of professional athletes to Vegas because Alvin Kamara gets arrested after the Pro Bowl. And we'll see what happens to him on that, I'm sure.
Well, any city.
I don't know if he's guilty or not on that, but
any city you find yourself in that's going to be an NFL city is going to have stuff to do. That's probably
Vegas has a little extra.
Well, Vegas is a little extreme, but
yeah.
Man, we did it.
We did it. We talked about it all.
We got it all done.
That's right.
Woo-hoo.
Last week we fixed everybody's problems. This week we kind of.
The problem is we fixed some of them last week, and we had to do this week because some guys didn't listen.
They didn't listen, Clint. They just don't listen.
You don't.
The good kids, they just don't listen.
Come on.
That's right. That's right. Well, as always, y'all, we thank you for listening to us. thank you for listening to the podcast. Like and share and share and like and share, like.
And subscribe.
Hit those bells or whatever.
Guys, and give us some good reviews. If you're enjoying the podcast, if you're not enjoying the podcast, shut up.
That's right. Yeah. Just hush it. And seriously, we want to hear back from you. We want to hear some feedback. Check us out on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, anywhere else you find us. Text us, call us, carrier pigeon. We don't care. Whatever you want to do.
Like carrier pigeons.
We'll be here. But seriously, we love to hear from you. Is there something you want us to cover or talk about that we haven't talked about? Are we wrong?
Oh, speaking of us being wrong, is Eli Burrell listened to the podcast last week? Good friend of mine, and he's like, he texted me because it's Mina times. I go, okay, we're sorry. We told you. We make it clear. I made it. If you go back to the beginning, we don't do research, people.
That's right.
Pretty much my research is looking at memes.
That's right.
And scrolling on Twitter. That's
right.
it. That's all I do.
Well, Clint, dude, it is, we're done. We're going to wash our hands of it. All the good, the bad, the ugly, the mistakes. We're stepping on out.
And guys, thank y'all so much for listening to us. We have a blast doing this.
That's right.
It is a pleasure every time. So thank you. Thank you very much.
It is a joy and a pleasure. And not only do I get to sit and talk sports with one of my best friends in the world, but other people are actually care about it and listen to it. And so,
yeah, Gabe,
ask for better
first comment, first comment, Gabe.
That's right. Come on, Gabe, lay it on us. Peace out, y'all.
Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Listen, that's why I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no harvest till I hurt. Crying your kingdom come. Listen, I wake up in the morning, I bow my head to pray. Mama told me if I don't, ain't nothing gonna change. These prayers breaking up hard ground so I can sow the seed. Ain't afraid of no aches and pain. Lord knows I gotta follow his lead. That's why I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no